Hello, and welcome to Unedited. Hello, every Thursday we come at you live here at our CO Network. Better Business. Should I screw that? Good people of Better Business, discovering the best of you. Rob Morales, our CO Network, coming at you live on a Thursday, talking to small businesses, entrepreneurs about their business and everything that goes on in their life. And I'm tripping over my words because I have a very special guest here in the studio today. You may remember from last Thursday's event, Miss Sierra Worthy. There he is. Hello, Miss Sierra. How are you?
Pretty good. How are you?
Pretty good. Like I said, we come here every Thursday talking to small businesses and entrepreneurs about the things they got going on in life, about the emotions, the transitions, everything else going on regarding their business. And sometimes on a Thursday, I trip up on my words. And for some reason, it's just the way it happens today. So, hello, Miss.
Hello. Happy Thursday.
Oh, my God. Yes, happy Thursday. How come when we go live, just the energy changes? It's like, oh shit, people are watching now. It's so weird that way. You know, we're having a conversation. We're talking about just marketing and the things that, small businesses go through. Our CO Network has taken Miss Worthy. I keep wanting to call you Tittle. That's her other last name. So we've taken Miss Worthy under our wing, and we're kind of helping her along this whole business journey. And it's been kind of exciting, wouldn't you say, Miss?
Very exciting.
What have you learned so far? What are the big things? You should share with some of the people out there.
The biggest thing is business is not just business. Everybody goes, and I will constantly go back to this. I had this imagination of step 1, step 2, step 3, and
no,
it's definitely not that. It's about the relationships and the I don't know. It's just a whole different level, and learning about yourself, and exposing that to others, what you have to offer. And that kind of goes into, your business, gives you that confidence.
Yeah. One of the metaphors that I like to use is like you're a hamburger shop. And hi, Palmira, how are you? You're a newly hamburger shop trying to open up next to a McDonald's, next to a Burger King, next to a Whataburger. You have so much competition. It's like, how do you stick out? And what do you do? And your business is?
Cleaning business.
Yeah, it's very much like that. I mean, how many cleaners did you know prior to starting a cleaning service?
Well, God, I know they're everywhere.
Yeah.
They're everywhere, so.
And so for me, I do real estate too. And I, going into the new business when there's so much competition and so many people out there doing the same thing, is like, well, how do I stick out? How do I, show people what I can do when they have never heard of me,
Yeah.
Have you experienced that quite yet?
Kind of a little bit, but I feel like once I get there, like when people give me the chance, then it's like, oh yeah. I had one lady call me the cleaning goddess the other day. She's like, oh my gosh, you're amazing. And I'm like, perfect.
You're the cleaning goddess?
And because I sat down, I was done, cleaning whatever, we sat down with her and her husband for a little bit, just chit-chatting, whatever.
Yep.
And then that night I get a text message, hey, Jill had, referenced you, and I was like, there it is. That's the true meaning of business. Is that extra 5-10 minutes that I sat, sitting, chit-chatting, it opened another door for me.
So would you say your value was just being present for somebody else?
I think it's a mixture of both, because I showed what my worth is as far as cleaning. You know what I mean? I showed you my worth. But I also gave that extra 5-10 minutes of my time, just talking, being human.
Yeah, and I know they're paying for your service, so they're paying you money to clean whatever area or whatever they're having you clean, but the time is priceless.
It is.
And I think when you exchange that time, no matter what capacity, and they feel that it's being utilized in the best fashion, so listening and being very present lasts a lifetime, and that's really the referral base, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, not only that too, but people are trusting you. They're trusting you, as they're giving you their money, or trusting you to do a good job. So giving that trust also, creating that relationship so they have the trust.
Yeah, and I would say that's probably the biggest thing, especially in my business and what I do. You really have to establish that, and I think that really comes from trusting yourself and projecting the things that should enable that or should engage in that. Mm-hmm. You just can't be out there, selling. People don't want to be sold to. But definitely people have a need for certain things like cleaning for real estate, purchasing houses. But they don't want to be sold on it. Mm-mm. They want to feel like they can trust you. And it's like trying to figure out those ways within yourself to establish that. That's kind of the big challenge. And I would say being there just present and listening is one of those things. Mm-hmm. Dale Carnegie, So if you came to our event last Thursday, there's certain things you would have learned. But for those who didn't attend, I am so sorry. What did you learn from the event? We had an event here Thursday with our student. What was the biggest takeaway from that?
Just being yourself.
Yeah.
Giving your what you have, just being, I don't know.
Well, today's show is really about scaling up.
Yeah.
So we talked about different show topics and the things about trying to establish Sierra's in the beginning stages of her business. She's officially, 2.5 months now, roughly?
Yeah. I want to say August?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Yeah, end of August.
We were here for the birth of the Clean and Complete Services baby.
We sure were. Right here in this office.
Right here in this office.
Right
This studio is where Clean and Complete Services birthed. Yeah, Sierra came and she's like, I'm thinking about starting a business and I want it to be cleaning. And then I said, let's go. We got on top of it. She established herself. So if you go to the Arizona Corporation Commission, you can look up Sierra and see her business. Yeah. Right there.
Boom.
There
it is.
But now we've come into an interesting point, as we've started and as you've scaled up. You've already scaled twice. You've made double the revenue you made the first month. And anytime you make, even if it's $100 and then the next month you make 200, you're scaling up and it's continuing that momentum. What are you doing? What are the practices that you have that are scaling that or continuing that? In your reflection, what are you doing of yourself that have made you double your revenue in just 2 months?
At the beginning, just trying to get a hang of things, trying to balance things. I was only scheduling one cleaning a day, kind of trying to figure out, if I'm scheduling what kind of cleaning, whatever. Now I'm to the point I got it down to two cleanings a day. All right, I'm doing pretty good. But now I'm all right, I'm going to have to go to the next step. You know what I mean? But what is that next step? And it's a step, so you have to, I'm kind of nervous about it, but, I'm going to have to do it.
And what is that, Miss? Is that hiring?
Pretty much, yeah. It's going to have to be hiring, but it's trusting, finding that right person you can trust and making that next step.
Yeah, I think that's a challenge to anybody. I've been in this business 8 years, and about year 3, 4, I tried to start a team, and there's definitely a lot of needs that other people have. They want you to teach them and coach them and basically kind of hand you the business to them. And that's really the trick. Is you want to help people, but they also have to know to kind of run on themselves or run on their own. And that's a challenge too. You got to know. I think it comes down to being a good parent. It's a balance of giving and being able to kind of know when you're giving too much, because at some point you got to cut the kid off. Say, hey, you got to grow up at some point. I can't keep doing this for you. Like riding a bike. At some point you got to take off the training wheels and let them go and give them enough confidence to let them go. And at some point they'll continue on. But in terms of business, bringing people on, that's always been my challenge too, because it's about finding the right person and who do you trust? Are they going to do it the same way you do it? Are they going to look and see the same things and know? And they're going to have their own motivations. They're going to have their own kind of perspective, and that's a challenge, because the way you clean is not how somebody else will clean. Mm-hmm. But then again, you're the boss, so you tell them what to do. Mm-hmm. She's the boss. She tells me what to do all the time. But I'm here with Rob Morales, our CEO Network, here with Miss Sierra Worthy, Clean and Complete Services. She is the owner and CEO of Clean and Complete. So I'm going to go ahead and post that right now so people know exactly who I'm talking to. The prestige, the honor that I have in speaking to a highly profound member of CEOs. So again, if you go to Facebook, you can check Sierra out, Clean and Complete Services. Her emphasis is on new construction cleaning, but she does just about everything else. Anything else with a drill. That's hence the logo with the drill. Yeah. Mm-hmm. She's a good drill cleaner.
There's only one kind of clean, and that's clean.
Oh dang. You got to whip that one out. But yeah, scaling up is a challenge, and because we talked about doing payroll and trying to keep your receipts together. I am at a receipt deficit. I have like a whole pile of receipts over here somewhere that I haven't done with. And it's such a balance, it's such a balance between like doing the work, doing the craft, and then managing the business. And managing the business isn't really that fun. I guess it can be, but
it's exciting whenever you know that you're making money and you're like, whoa, like this is great, but then again, it's like, oh, I got stuff I got to do then. Like,
Yeah.
there's stuff that follows to that, you know. You got to, I don't know.
I will say
More to
it's so much different from this side of things. You know, like when I was starting out, it was always chasing after a business, always chasing after somebody that really wasn't invested in me. You know what I mean? And that's hard because you just like want a deal. You want a contract. You want, I guess for you, somebody to clean for so they can pay you so you can continue to this life thing, you know, and pay the bills and, you know, pay for Netflix subscription, whatever, you know. And it's hard to always chase after people. You know, at this point, you know, 8 years into it, I don't chase after anybody. I have done very little lead generation. Last time I paid for any kind of lead was about 4 or 5 years ago. And because, again, I think in that terms, I've found my value. A lot of what I've done in the past was kind of like emotions, understanding them, how they process, and helping people kind of transition out of their emotions. That's kind of why you're here. And that's probably why, you know, you feel, at least in this forum, that we've helped you through those emotional processes, because that's what I focus in on. You know, my value is to kind of point out your challenges and point out your strengths and say, hey, keep working on this and keep moving this way.
Yeah.
You know? And
that's kind of where I see more, that's true, where true business begins, is within yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's where it begins.
What was your biggest fear in getting into all this?
The confidence of it. I always go back to like the cleaning lady. You know what I mean? Like the cleaning lady. But no, like I like to clean.
So is it the stigma that people look down on cleaning people?
I really think that it might be. Yeah.
Yeah, and I would say, you know, it's unfortunate that we kind of put people on different echelons of life. You know, oh, you're just a cleaning lady, we're just going to dismiss you. But you're Sierra to me. You know, you're worth, you know, 1,000,000 times more than just what a quote unquote cleaning lady is. You know, and if you ever get to know Sierra, she's ambitious and she is kind. She's a balanced person between, you know, giving and just being present. So that's the heart of why I appreciate you and why I want to emphasize and why we're doing marketing, because this is really marketing for Sierra too.
Well, I do have to say, from where I had started and you know, having the non-confidence of, you know, the cleaning lady, after doing it and talking to people, I've realized how much it helps people. It really does. People, I just don't have time for this. Sierra, I need your help. Like, all right, cool. Don't worry, I got it. Like, don't have to worry about it, you know? Because there are, you know, people who really don't have time. Or, like, whenever they're selling houses, like, oh, you know, I need this to look nice. I'm selling it. Like, you know, so it comes back. It replenishes me because I'm turning back to helping people. Gives it that base.
So one of the things that I want to share with you guys out there, you know, and chime in if you need to, but one of the things I had Sierra do right from the very beginning, literally day one, was to take a personality test, because I needed to know how to talk to Sierra in her way versus trying to talk to her in my way, which is, I think, a big challenge when it comes to clients, because we tend to believe that our way is the right way. But if we communicate with somebody at their emotional base, where they're coming from, it makes it a whole different process. So if you ever take the DISC personality assessment, Sierra is a DES, so she's very dominant and she's very supportive, you know, which also makes sense into the amount of time she gives her clients. So it makes sense that she's going to finish the cleaning and get that done probably efficiently, but then also take the time and get to know her client. That's that S side of her. So that's why she's finding that balance right now. And it's important that each one of you go out there and find what that is, what your emotional kind of motivation is. Because if you don't, then you're really kind of just selling people. And again, people don't like to be sold. You know?
Not at all. And
Sarah's awesome at listening, by the way. She's listening to me right now.
I have to say, though, I don't want to say I didn't believe in it, because that's not the right word. But I just never, I never understood the gratification of the personality test and truly learning, understanding, you know, I'm a D and an S, oh man, it opened a whole new door of understanding. And I kind of was just yeah, okay, personality test, whatever. But now I'm whoa, it's amazing.
Yeah, because if somebody comes at you, I'm a CD. So if somebody comes at you and I'm trying to sell people, I'm going to sell them on information. This is why it benefits you. This is why, you know, these are the things, these are the steps you need to go through. And Sierra doesn't care about steps necessarily. Emotionally, she's like, just give me to the point. Is this going to get me where I need to go? How much is this going to make me? If not, I got to go to the next thing, you know? That's her emotional. That's that D side of her. And I resonate with that because that's partly a D in mine. So I can kind of shift to that. I can shift to that discussion, or at least that way of speaking, so that we can connect that way. Because if I come in like, oh my God, Sierra, how are you? Is everything going well? Oh my God, how's your family? Oh, how are the kids? Oh, did you go on vacation last week? I can already tell in Sierra's mind, like, oh my God, what the hell is this about? Okay, oh my God, I got to finish. I got 10 minutes before my next appointment. And you're being nice, but then you're like, hey, and to me, that can come off as, like rude or abrupt. And I could be very dismissive of Sierra just because of her emotional need. If I don't understand that, then I lose a sale. Then Sierra walks off and says, I'm going to go do business with somebody that can get me to the point, get me to the place I need to be. So it's this whole thing of understanding yourself first before you go out there and sell. And when you're going out there and selling, once you understand yourself, there's no selling, just you being you.
Exactly.
Which is the most amazing part of all this.
Well, and it goes back to nobody wants to be sold on anything.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's so much. And I bet you with your client, the one that you sat down and listened to, she's most likely going to connect with all the people that listen to her, or that at least that she's connected with herself. Typically, if you're an S, you're going to hang out with other S's. If you're a D, you're going to hang out with other Ds. And depending on where you're at in that scale, that's kind of where your circle of friends are. So if you approach that person in that similar way, guess what? They're going to refer you to all their other friends who are very similar in the same way. So again, it's understanding yourself and transitioning. It's having 4 different languages, but saying the same thing. If that makes sense.
It does.
Maybe. Anybody else have? Palmira says, this is amazing and wonderful. We need to empower each other with our own experience. I believe so, yeah.
Absolutely.
And so if anybody else has any comments or questions, I'm here with Ms. Sierra Worthy of Clean and Complete Services. I'm going to go ahead and post that again. Right there. If you go to facebook.com and look up Clean and Complete, the link will be somewhere in the description. So check out Sierra, and her cleaning abilities are like no other. But we did, again, talk about scaling up. And what do you think the next steps are as far as where you're at? Because you're really only 2 months in. You're already thinking about payroll. You're already thinking about adding people. And you should be. You should be thinking about tomorrow and the next few steps.
I don't know. I just have to decide which one's next.
So if anybody's out there, I think what you need is an accountant or a bookkeeper or somebody. We were talking about needing somebody that does bookkeeping services or does something that can help us out, because I need somebody to do my receipts, and so does Sierra. But scaling up I think is really about, as we kind of wrap things up, I think really scaling up is understanding yourself. That's the first realm of things.
That is absolutely, that is business beginners right there. Understanding yourself.
Yeah. And then using that to help you in this whole process and communicating, because the next step is communicating.
Correct.
If you're really like ego driven and you're only really thinking about yourself and your business, you're really not going to connect with people. You're going to connect with some, just not as much as you could. And that's the one thing I've found in this whole process. And hopefully Sierra's coming along and understands that too.
Just remember, you walk to the table as yourself, and you don't have to sell anything.
And so is there anything that you want to share with anybody, or any takeaways or anything that you learned? Because we had our event, like I said, last week, and there's been so many things that have happened in just the short amount of time we spent together. Is there anything that you'd want people to know about you or about your business?
Not off the top of my head.
I might put you on the spot.
Yeah, kind of. I
think so.
I feel like I shared some juicy stuff. I don't know.
Well, I think at the end of the day, I think it's really about marketing, right? We've talked about this a few times. Is like the direction of marketing. How do we market somebody? And especially somebody new in the business, new in any business. I think the biggest challenge is just marketing. That's really scaling up. Is like really kind of figuring out what ways to market.
Yeah, I would honestly. That's probably one of my number one challenges. I feel is just marketing.
Because I think you look around. I look around all the time, and people are on Facebook. People are on posting pictures. Whether they're half naked or being stupid or being political, everybody's like trying to I don't know, scream out loud in a crowded room. And when you have somebody screaming out loud with everybody else screaming out loud, it's like, who's listening at that point? And so when in my marketing, and I guess it'd be a takeaway too, is like do something that's different than what everybody else is doing. You know, and when we started this network, I guess I'm talking to you and everybody. When we started this network, I was told that we had to go to networking events all the time. And I hated it. I hated going out there and meeting people because I wasn't really confident myself, one. I really didn't know how to speak to people that were just selling me. I mean, it's like going into a room and everybody's like trying to sell you something. It's like, well, I just want somebody to listen to me, you know, and I hated networking. And that's one of the things they tell you over and over again. Besides our group, have you gone to networking?
Yeah, it's a good one.
Oh, well, besides ours, have you gone somewhere else? Yeah. The biggest issue I have is walking in a room and not knowing anybody, and then trying to like tell them about my product or my service. That is so draining emotionally. You know, and then how do I was working on my elevator speech and like how do I talk to somebody in 60 seconds? And again, that's not genuine. That's not a relationship. You know. And so when we started this network, I decided we're going to switch things around, you know, and meet on Saturdays instead of like Wednesday and Thursday nights, and talk over coffee instead of alcohol, you know, and actually have discussions and then provide value. I think at the end of it is understanding your value and providing that. You know, that's really the true marketing, the referral basis. But again, it's like until you explore that, until you figure out who you are, what value do you offer?
Yeah.
Because guess what? I can look up in any book and do a Google search and find, you know, 40 other cleaners. But I can only find one Sierra Worthy. So how do we get Sierra Worthy out there? Anybody out there?
That's the question.
That is the question of the day.
That's the question of the day. It's just that marketing piece.
Yeah, if anybody has any, whoever's watching, if anybody has any tips or tricks on how to promote your value, I went over 4 during our event. And I guess I'll go over them here since I have a captive audience. So then the first one we identified already was being present. You know, just giving somebody your time, I think, is profound. You know, giving somebody just a few minutes to listen to their story, listen to where they've come from. I mean, just that being that supportive person weighs heavily just to be heard, because we spend so much time just talking. You know, so that's one. Being present is one. Actively listening and actually caring about what the other person's saying. That's really the key of that. The second one is knowledge, giving experiences, sharing, you know, telling your stories, telling what you've learned, and providing some sort of information. So at our event, I gave books away because those are the words and the information that I learned from, and be able to share that with somebody else. You're giving them the knowledge, you're giving them the experiences that you had. The next one, so that's 2. The next one is accountability. So holding somebody accountable. You know, and sometimes it's crazy to do this on your own, but to have somebody there with you and say, hey, you know what, you need to get on that. You told me this is what you wanted in life. I'm trying to help you get there. You're like, oh shit, okay, fine. Just holding somebody accountable weighs very heavily too.
Yeah.
And then the last one is inspiring people. You know, doing stuff that people don't normally do, like jump on a podcast and talk for 30 minutes, and hopefully somebody's listening.
Yeah.
Because that's something you're afraid of, right?
Yeah, it's out of my comfort zone, that's for sure.
Yeah, because I think, you know, in our discussion before, you kind of hate everybody. I did too. I mean, like staring at you and being like, oh, that's there. And like you have a crowd of people just staring at you. You're like, well, what are they looking at? Are they looking at my dress? Are they looking at my face? What are they looking? Oh my God, my legs. Oh shit. Am I wearing the right shoes?
I've always been like I'll just do my job over here. Like, I don't know. I've always been the quiet person in the back.
Yeah. Well, I feel that that's always going to be the person that sometimes that people step on, right? Or take advantage of.
Yeah.
You know, if you're the quiet one, always kind of conceding to the people will use you.
Well, one thing I've learned, this is a good one. Here it is staying out of your comfort zone. Because when you stay out of your comfort zone, you're growing.
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable. It's as comfortable as it's not comfortable. But that's when you grow. That's when you grow the most. So doing these podcasts or doing, you know, standing in front of people and talking, you know, keeps you growing. It's a good thing.
Yeah. So Sierra in total, I think in the last 2 months has done more in marketing, podcasts, headshots, networking events. Yeah. I forced her to be on stage with me at our last event. And it's just so nice and so overwhelming, I think, for her and for myself, just to have that shared moment and be like, you know what, I don't need to share the stage. I don't need to have the stage myself. I can share it with somebody that I care about, that's truly deserving of it. So that's Miss. That's what.
I appreciate it.
So we're at the end of the show today. So if anybody has any comments or questions, go ahead and put that in the comments section. We'll get to them later. I'm going to put up Sierra's information one more time. Is there anything else, Miss, that you want to say as a salute to you, to your business? Anything else?
No, not that I can think of. Happy Thursday, everybody. Thanks for watching.
So that's Sierra Worthy, Clean Complete Services here on Facebook. Clean Complete. I don't even know what the clean dash complete dash. I'll put the link in the bottom. So, but we're here every Thursday talking to small businesses, entrepreneurs about everything they got going on in life, how to market, but more about finding themselves. So, Rob Morales, RCO Network. We'll catch you guys hopefully next week. Maybe Sierra will come back. Who knows? All right, guys. We'll see you next time.